we have a more fun segment to wrap this up, because Max Blumenthal has been very impressive recently, been exposing these woke imperialists. There's no other way to say it. There's this video from Rachel Maddow. I want to get right into it. And I don't know how these elites sleep at night, knowing that they can't justify their basic positions. And this is Max. I don't know how they allowed him to get this close. I literally had no idea how they allowed this to happen, but he did. It did happen, and it's absolutely glorious. I don't want to spoil it anymore. I'll play the video, and I want to get Jimmy's and CJ's response.
Bent on overthrowing the U.S. government. And members of Congress who were sympathetic.
Rachel, this speech is boring and paranoid. Can you explain why you promoted the Steele? Why did you promote the Steele dossier, which has been proven to be a lie? Why did you promote the lie of Russian bounties? Come on. Can you ever be held accountable for the lies you told Americans for years and years and years? You lied to Americans for years.
Let's go.
Silence is violence, Rachel. There you go. You want my badge?
Thank you.
So
that's the call out point.
Can you explain why you promoted the Steele? Why did you?
This everything.
Yeah, people are putting out those memes that say that's what a corporate tool looks like when she encounters a real journalist.
Do you think, Jimmy or Nick, do you think she's never heard of this critique until this Max incident? Like this is like the first time. What do you mean? I was lying about Russiagate? What do you mean, Max? Like,
I think
do
she
you
knows
think this is the first time, or
I think she knows it, and then Max came up. She looked at him. That's why she did this look. This is my theory. She did this look because she wanted to see his badge. Are you NBC? Are you a legit journalist? And then when Max started calling her out, she's like, "Oh shit, there's the critique I can't defend against. Security, a real journalist is actually in here." So to answer your question, she 100% knows she's full of shit. I don't know how the people sleep at night. I guess $40,000 a day would do that for you.
$100,000 a day. Her contract
Christ.
is 35. Her contract is, I'm pretty sure it's $35 million. Her latest contract, which works out to $500,000 a week, which works out to $100,000 a workday. That's what she makes.
That's so, and that's why you don't care. You don't care. You don't have any shame after that. And that's why, like, look at. I'll play the video again. Look at her reaction once she realizes this is not an NBC reporter. She immediately looks up like, security, get this peasant. We know Max Blumenthal's not a peasant, but if you make $100,000 a day, all these motherfuckers are paying you, right? So she's like, security, get this peasant away from me. So I'm gonna play that part again. Look at her reaction. Her reaction once she realizes who that is says everything to me.
Bent on overthrowing the U.S. government. And members of Congress who were sympathetic.
Rachel, this speech is boring and paranoid. Can you explain why you promoted the Steele? Why did you promote the Steele dossier, which has been proven to be?
Look, you see that look? Security.
But look at her face. Look at her face, and then we'll get Jimmy's. But look at her face. She is looking to say, how did you let this clown in here? That's the look she has. How did you let this real journalist in here? Have you not, did you not get the list, the guest list at the front? Keep out Max Blumenthal, keep out Jimmy Dore, keep out RBN, keep out Aaron Mate. It is truly disgusting to me, though, that she has not been held accountable. Has she even addressed it, Jimmy? Have you heard her address it?
No one's going to make any of those people address that Russiagate was complete bullshit. No one's going to, even though the majority of Americans now understand that it was complete bullshit, and they're not even surprised that it was made up by the Hillary Clinton campaign and FBI. No one's going to hold her accountable for pushing that Steele dossier, or the Clinton campaign for lying about funding it for a fucking year, which is what they did. And then they lied. That nobody's going to hold the FBI accountable for lying 17 times to the FISA court to get fucking warrants to tap the phone of the Trump campaign. I mean, again, I'm no fan of the goddamn Trump campaign or Donald Trump, but people don't realize is that no matter if an outsider ever managed, if Bernie Sanders had the stones to grab power, everything that they did to Trump, they would be doing to Bernie Sanders. That's exactly what would be happening. And people don't realize that they already started Russiagating Bernie Sanders when he was running. They said Russia was on his side, and Bernie Sanders is such a cuck and such. It's not hyperbole that guy guy is the fucking a lapdog to power and is afraid of his own shadow, that he went along with it instead of debunking it and all that. He went along with it and said Putin should stop interfering in our like a fucking moron. And so, and then whatever. So what they're doing to Trump, they're having trumped up charges of from the DA Bragg in New York. They passed a law so that woman could sue him in civil court. Just that one. It's the crazy. And they went into his the FBI agents, turns out, didn't want to go into his house and his closet. They knew it was fucked up and they shouldn't do it, but they were made to do that anyway. That came from the top. That came from fucking Biden's Justice Department. So this all what they're doing to Trump is and Trump is again, and it's just because he wouldn't go along with their foreign policy and he would tell the truth about it when he would. That they can't fucking have that because Trump thought that made him seem tough to admit that we're taking their fucking oil, man, fucking taking these Arabs' oil. That's what he thought he was saying to his people. And what he was actually saying was the truth, and that you can't do that. So I'm sorry, I get sidetracked, but that's what
no
people.
I appreciate you staying a little on extra. We almost done with this segment here. This is Rachel Maddow. I want to show you guys her response after that. I cut the video because the last like 20 seconds of the video, you see Max standing there with the reporter trying to recast what happens there. But this is Rachel after he leaves the scene. So like if you're an ordinary person, which none of those people are, they all DNC donors, capitalists, people part of the machine. But the average person after seeing Maddow get caught out by that, like the whole vibe would be ruined, right? Like imagine Jimmy, you doing a show and someone called you out for being a fraud and you trying to continue. It'd be kind of awkward doing the show after doing that. But Maddow, because she make $100,000 a year, a day, I should say, that's news to me. Look how shamelessly she just walks out being exposed as a fraud.
Coming to a Substack newsletter near you.
Can you pause it? Can you pause it?
Yeah.
That is such a classist point that she's trying to make here. And what she's saying, and this is why they cheer, what she's saying is that's not state media. That's not state media. That's essentially what she's saying here.
Yes,
state media is only welcome here, and he's not one of those. Go ahead, Jimmy.
That's not establishment sanctioned media. Ha 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 ha. That's just anybody can say anything. It's not filtered through a corporation or a bank or an advertising company. It's just they can just say whatever that play.
Yeah, Seymour Horst has a Substack too, and he reported something on the Nord Stream pipeline. So what are you talking about, Rachel? She is one of the disgusting people on media. To me, she had me, Jimmy. I was one of the people in the beginning who believed Russiagate before the Mueller report came out. Then I started. This was one of my turning points from the Democratic Party was Russiagate. I woke up in the middle of it and I was like, this shit. But I was the one that watched Rachel every day when she had the whole wall. Remember that whole wall she had, a listing of things and that. I literally I was like, wow, Trump is a spy in the damn White House. What the hell's going on around here? Yes, I believed it. I believed it until I didn't, until I start to just go deductive reasoning. Because what you have to do, Jimmy and Nick, to believe this stuff, you have to suspend your own logic that you've lived through for decades. You have to go, what I've lived through a human nature before, let me suspend that and just go off of what this propaganda is. And I'll pass it back to you guys.
Yeah, and I actually was joking around when in my monologue I had Rachel calling Max Blumenthal a peasant in my little skit, but that's literally what she does. Like this is her way. That's literally that's just some fucking peasant who works at Substack.
Coming to a Substack near you.
That's literally her way of saying that.
Wow. When you think about that is so class. That's such a class thing.
And think about this. She's at a thing called TRUCON. And who is it sponsored by? It's sponsored by the biggest weapons manufacturers in the whole fucking world. She's being paid by she's being paid by that's a Raytheon and all those fucking companies are sponsoring this. And that it's called TRUCON. It's from the Truman Institute or something. And that's just Max talks about it in his tweet thread. That's just there to take progressive politicians and progressives and turn them into pro-war maniacs. And there's no bigger pro-war maniac. I mean, there's no more disgusting person. I mean, concluding fucking Sean Hannity, whoever you want to put up there. There's no more disgusting person than Rachel Maddow. There's nobody who encourages bloodthirstiness and warmongering with a smile because you never think a homosexual. I mean, she she likes, she likes having sex with other women. Those people are supposed to be holy and godlike, right? And turns out they can be just as disgusting as fucking anybody. Anybody they call a white supremacist. What do you think you're doing by supporting imperialism? What do you think that is? If that isn't defined as white supremacy, I don't know what the fuck you define it as. But she's a glad cheerleader of it, and they distract you. They want to distract you with the bullshit that actually doesn't threaten power. While, by the way, Joe Biden is finishing Trump's wall in Arizona. So here we go.
To that point, Jimmy, and this is why RBN, this is why we take it upon ourselves to call the Democrat Party out so much. We have JB, who is a member of the LGBTQ community as well, who calls out people like Maxwell Frost and these people who claim to represent him as frauds. The same way that we should call out these black leaders. They have this new strategy. We're gonna put gay people like Rachel Maddow in front. We're gonna put Corinne Jean Pierre, who she's like a queer, black queer. You put her out there. Go ahead.
She's a woman. She's black. She's an immigrant, and she's lesbian. She's how many fucking boxes can you check at once? And she's horrible at her job.
And apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure she's Haitian as well. And she had a press conference where she was justifying the United States plan to invade Haiti. You had this person from Haiti, immigrant, queer, black person, that is justifying U.S. invading her home country. That is liberalism in a nutshell, and why I hate it to my core. Now we were talking about Cop City earlier, and we talking about police fascism. You want to know who enabling fascism?
That's right.
And not Republicans. Well, they are, but they're not leading it. Look, this is I'm shifting in here just quickly. Black mayors are leading the nation's biggest cities for the first time. So black mayors are leading the biggest cities for the first time, and we got a homeless epidemic. We got cop cities being built. Black income inequality is worse than ever. You guys see this is the consequences of liberal identity politics, which we call out as bullshit.
Well, this is exactly what Fred Hampton warned against. He said we have to educate our black leaders because we don't want them just to become the same oppressors. We don't want our black oppressors oppressing black people like the white people. We don't want them to replace the oppressors with black oppressors, and that's exactly what has happened. Barack Obama was the biggest oppressor of black people in my lifetime.
I agree. Once again, I'm a young black man. I 100% agree. I told my kin that. My kin acknowledged that now. It was easy for me because my kin apolitical. I feel bad for some other friends who have boomer black parents who still can't get over Obama. That guy, I still have Barack Obama derangement syndrome. And I probably won't. What he did to our community, what he did to our generation, I could write a book on. I did write a Substack. My first Substack I wrote about Obama, and I could include so much. I cut so much in that first article. I cut myself out here. Anyway, this is the last one. This is from a few days ago, but for the sake of the segment, I'll play this because this is, as you explained, Jimmy. This is a neocon arms dealer event, and they will also pretend to be. They are woke imperialists. So I'll play the video just for a second time to play. I think it'll speak for itself. Max Blumenthal exposed woke imperialists.
Hello, Max Blumenthal, Gray Zone. My pronouns are Trump Russia. Lockheed Martin is one of the most diverse employers in the country, and I was wondering if you knew by any chance how many products or weapons produced by Lockheed Martin, diversity and equity and inclusion bombs have been dropped on the children of Palestine, Yemen, or Syria. And also, do you happen to know off the top?
Bro, that silence says everything. I let it continue. That silence says everything.
If any non-binary U.S. Navy divers were used in blowing up the Nord Stream pipelines.
What do you even say to that? What do you even say to that? What do you even say being exposed that badly? To me, the silence there is the loudest laugh track you can possibly have.
Yeah. Because if somebody comes in the room, if he came out and said, blah, 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 the sky is yellow, everybody would be like, what? You crazy. They will have a response. The fact that you are looking so blank is telling us what he's saying. It's true. What he's saying has hit a spot for you to be this quiet. And it's the silence says so much. Back to you.
Absolutely. Last few seconds here. I'll play the last 15 seconds again, then we wrap up.
Best Navy divers were used in blowing up the Nord Stream pipelines.
How many? He asked how many non-binary Navy divers.
Can you rewind it just by 15 seconds, Nick? I want to see that again.
Let's watch. I watch it full. Let's watch it in full.
Okay,
one more
I
time.
gotta see that again. I gotta.
In less than a minute. In less than a minute. So let's watch it in full one last time. This is glorious. Great stuff by Max.
Hello, Max Blumenthal, the Gray Zone. My pronouns are Trump Russia. Lockheed Martin has been identified as one of the most diverse employers in the country. And I was wondering if you knew by any chance how many products or weapons produced by Lockheed Martin, diversity and equity and inclusion bombs have been dropped on the children of Palestine, Yemen, or Syria. And also, do you happen to know off the top if any non-binary U.S. Navy divers were used in blowing up the Nord Stream pipelines?
I can't even hear what they said there, but that was a. I'm literally crying, dude. That was a glorious bit. That's a glorious bit.
Whoever was on whatever shield that was on the panel tried to make a joke out of it and said, "Well, I don't know, but if someone here to please tell me, and then we'll both know." Ha ha ha! He laughed. No one else did. Right?
They were still in shambles. Like,
Yeah.
CJ, everyone there was still in shambles. They were still processing what the hell was going on. The security person that went up to Max, I think, was the first person that understood that was going on.
It's like showing up to a place with a bunch of like people who have committed a crime, and they're just trying to see, what do you know? Let me see what you know about what I did. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like to me. But go ahead.
Anyway, great stuff by Max. Jimmy, I'm gonna give you the last word. Any last things you wanna? Any last thoughts before we send you off here? I appreciate your time today.
The reason why he was able to, those people were at least taking questions, right? That's why he was allowed. Isn't that funny? So this diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? And so that's how you can be a bomb maker and somehow be seen as a Boy Scout virtue person who loves people and kids. And so, I think we need to call that out, because that's being used as a bullshit way. And of course, corporations don't give a fuck about gay people or lesbians or black people or brown people. You know, just like Nike, they don't give a fuck. They want you to buy the shit that Colin Kaepernick's wearing that's being made by fucking prisoners. They don't give a shit about black people. I'll tell you that.